The cameras weren't supposed to catch this, but somehow, they did. And now, fans are absolutely losing it. What started as a tense exchange backstage quickly exploded into one of the most shocking confrontations reality TV has seen this year. Spice and Rasheeda, two powerhouse women known for their confidence and unfiltered personalities, found themselves locked in a fiery clash that no one saw coming. Voices were raised, accusations flew, and within minutes, the entire room was divided. Witnesses say emotions ran high as the argument turned deeply personal. "You crossed the line," one of them allegedly snapped, while the other refused to back down, firing back with claims that left everyone stunned. Friends tried to step in, but the tension only escalated. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, they did. Because that's when Mona Scott made her move. Behind the scenes, producers scrambled, cast members whispered. Fans watching the drama unfold in real time couldn't believe what they were seeing. Social media erupted, with viewers taking sides and demanding answers. Was this just another reality TV blow-up, or had something much deeper been brewing all along? And then came the moment no one expected. A final call was made. A decision so big, it could change everything, not just for Spice and Rasheeda, but for the entire circle around them. Allegiances were tested, secrets threatened to surface. And now, the question everyone is asking, what exactly did Mona decide on? Who's about to face the consequences? The tension didn't just simmer after that explosive moment. It boiled over. Backstage, the air felt thick, like something was about to snap at any second. Spice stood near the dressing table, arms crossed, her jaw tight, eyes blazing with frustration. Rasheeda paced back and forth, heels clicking sharply against the floor, each step louder than the last, like she was trying to drown out the chaos in her own head. Nobody spoke at first, but the silence itself was loud enough to make everyone uncomfortable. "Say it again." Spice finally broke the silence, her voice low but dangerous. "I dare you." Rasheeda stopped pacing. Slowly, she turned, locking eyes with Spice. "You heard me the first time," she shot back, her tone dripping with attitude. "I don't repeat myself for people who twist everything." And just like that, the room erupted again. "Twist." Spice stepped forward, her voice rising. "You want to talk about twisting? You've been smiling in my face while moving different behind my back." Gasps filled the room. A few cast members exchanged looks, clearly shocked at how fast things escalated again. Rasheeda laughed, but it wasn't humor. It was disbelief. "Oh wow, so now I'm fake. That's what we doing? Because last time I checked, you were the one running your mouth to everybody else. Don't play with me." Spice snapped, pointing her finger. "I got receipts. Don't make me go there." And that word, receipts, changed everything. The energy shifted instantly. People leaned in, whispers started, because in this circle, receipts meant proof. And proof meant someone was about to get exposed. Rasheeda's expression hardened. "Go ahead," she said coldly. "Pull them out. Let's see what you really got." But before Spice could respond, another voice cut through the chaos. "Enough." Everyone froze. Mona Scott stepped into the room, her presence commanding instant silence. She didn't raise her voice often, but when she did, it carried weight. Real weight. Her eyes moved from Spice to Rasheeda, reading the tension like a script she'd seen too many times before. But this felt different. "What is going on?" Mona asked, her tone sharp but controlled. No one answered immediately. Even the boldest personalities in the room seemed hesitant now. Finally, Rasheeda spoke. "Ask her," she said, gesturing toward Spice. "She the one making accusations." Spice scoffed. "I'm not making nothing up. I'm just done being played." Mona stepped closer, her expression unreadable. "Played how?" And for a split second, Spice hesitated. That hesitation didn't go unnoticed. "Exactly," Rasheeda jumped in. "Because there ain't no real story, just drama for the cameras." "Don't do that," Spice snapped back. "Don't act innocent. You know what you said." Mona held up her hand, one at a time. The room fell quiet again. Spice took a deep breath, clearly trying to steady herself. But the emotion was still there, bubbling right beneath the surface. "She'd been talking," Spice said slowly, "telling people I can't be trusted, saying I switch up. And that ain't even the worst part." Mona's eyes narrowed slightly. "What's the worst part?" Spice looked directly at Rasheeda. "You brought my name into something that had nothing to do with me." Rasheeda shook her head immediately. "That's a lie." "It's not." Spice fired back. "And you know it." Voices started overlapping again, louder, sharper, messier. Accusations flew in every direction, and once again, the room descended into chaos. "You always do this," Rasheeda shouted. "You take something small and turn it into a whole show. Because you always hiding." Spice yelled back. You think people don't see through that? See through what? Rasheeda stepped closer now, closing the distance between them. Say it with your chest. I am saying it. Spice didn't back down. You not real. You smile and hug, then go behind people and plant seeds. That line hit hard. The kind of line that doesn't just sting, it sticks. Rasheeda's face changed instantly. The confidence, the attitude. It cracked just enough to reveal something deeper. Anger. Yes, but also hurt. Wow, she said quietly. So that's how you really feel. Don't twist it, Spice replied, but her tone softened just slightly. I just want the truth. The truth. Rasheeda's voice rose again. You couldn't handle the truth if it was right in front of you. And that was it. Spice stepped forward again. And this time, security had to move in. Not because anything had happened yet, but because it felt like something could. Hands went up. Bodies shifted. And suddenly there was a barrier between them. Don't touch me, Spice snapped as someone tried to hold her back. Then stop acting crazy. Rasheeda shot back, trying to move around security. Both of you stop. Mona's voice cut through everything again, louder than before. This time, it worked. Everyone froze. Mona looked around the room, clearly frustrated now. This is not how this is going to go, she said firmly. Not today, but the damage was already done. The room was divided. Some people stood closer to Spice, nodding quietly, while others hovered near Rasheeda, whispering in support. The tension wasn't just between two people anymore. It had spread. Y'all picking sides now, Spice said, noticing the shift. Don't start that, someone muttered. No, say it, Spice pushed. Who's standing where? Ain't nobody picking sides, Rasheeda said, but even she didn't sound convinced. Because the truth was, they were, and everyone knew it. Mona took a deep breath, clearly calculating her next move. This isn't just a misunderstanding, she said slowly. There's something deeper here, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. Spice folded her arms again, still glaring. Good, because I'm not letting this slide. Rasheeda crossed her arms too, mirroring her stance. Neither am I. And in that moment, it became painfully clear. This wasn't over, not even close. Because whatever truth was hiding beneath the surface, it hadn't come out yet. And when it did, everything was about to change. And when it did, everything was about to change. The room stayed frozen for a moment, like everyone was waiting for someone else to make the next move. But no one did. The silence stretched, uncomfortable and heavy, until Mona finally exhaled slowly and stepped forward again. We're not leaving this room until we get clarity, she said, her tone calmer but still firm. Because right now, all I see is accusations and no accountability. Spice rolled her eyes slightly but didn't interrupt. Rasheeda looked away, folding her arms tighter, clearly holding something back. Mona noticed. Rasheeda, she said directly, you keep saying she's lying, so say what really happened. Rasheeda hesitated, and that hesitation, it spoke volumes. I didn't lie, she said finally, but her voice wasn't as strong as before. I just repeated what was told to me. The room shifted again. Spice's head snapped up. Repeated, she echoed, disbelief written all over her face. So you did talk about me. I didn't say it like that, Rasheeda replied quickly. You twisting my words again. No, you just admitted it. Spice stepped forward, pointing. You went around spreading stuff without even checking if it was true, because it came from someone close to you. Rasheeda fired back. That line hit like a bomb. The room exploded into whispers. Someone asked under their breath. Spice's expression changed instantly. The anger was still there, but now there was something else. Confusion. Suspicion. Who you talking about? Spice asked slowly. Rasheeda looked at Mona, then back at Spice. For a moment, it felt like she might not say it, but then she did. Carly, she said, and just like that, everything shifted. What? Spice's voice cracked, not with weakness, but with shock. Real shock. A few people gasped out loud. Others immediately started whispering louder, trying to piece things together. Don't do that, Spice said, shaking her, whispering louder, trying to piece things together. Don't do that, Spice said, shaking her.
Because now, it felt obvious. She wanted us to fight, Spice continued. She fed you something fake, knowing you'd bring it to me. Rasheeda shook her head slowly, processing it all in real time. I can't believe I fell for that. You didn't just fall for it, Spice said. You ran with it. The words were sharp, but not explosive anymore. They were real, and they landed. Rasheeda looked down, guilt creeping into her expression. I thought I was protecting myself, she admitted. I thought you were moving shady. And instead, you helped her create this mess, Spice replied. the room went quiet again. Mona stepped forward, her tone shifting into something more final, more decisive. "This is exactly why I don't tolerate secondhand information," she said, "because it leads to this." She gestured around the room, the tension, the division, the emotional fallout. "So here's what's going to happen," Mona continued. Everyone straightened slightly, sensing the weight of what was coming. "Carly made a choice not to show up," Mona said, "and that choice has consequences." Spice watched closely. Rasheeda barely moved. Moving forward, Mona added, "She will not be part of any group discussions until this is resolved face-to-face." Guests filled the room. "Oh, that's big," someone whispered. She basically cut off. Another voice murmured. Rasheeda looked up. "You serious?" "Very," Mona replied. "Because if you can't stand behind what you said, you don't get to hide from it." Spice nodded slowly. "That's fair." But Mona wasn't done. "And as for you two," she said, turning to Spice and Rasheeda, "this doesn't just get swept under the rug." Both women tensed slightly. "You're going to sit down," Mona continued. "Just the two of you. No audience, no noise. And you're going to have a real conversation. Because clearly there's more here than just this situation." Spice sighed, but nodded. "Fine." Rasheeda hesitated, then nodded too. "Okay." But even as they agreed, you could feel it. Things weren't fixed, not even close, because trust, once it's broken like that, doesn't just come back. And while one mystery had been uncovered, another question was now hanging in the air. Why did Carly do it? Because creating drama was one thing, but this felt personal, too personal. Spice seemed to be thinking the same thing. Her eyes narrowed slightly, like she was connecting dots no one else could see yet. "This ain't random," she said quietly. Rasheeda looked at her. "What you mean?" Spice didn't answer right away. She just stared ahead, her expression shifting again, from anger to focus. "I think she'd been planning this," Spice said finally, and that statement changed everything all over again. "Planning," Rasheeda repeated. "For what?" Spice turned to her slowly. To break things, the room fell silent once more, because if that was true, then this wasn't just drama, this was strategy. And the realization hit everyone at the same time. This situation wasn't over, it was just entering a whole new level. It was just entering a whole new level. The room didn't feel the same anymore. What started as loud, chaotic energy had turned into something colder, more calculated. People weren't just reacting now, they were thinking, replaying moments, connecting conversations that once seemed harmless but now felt suspicious. Spice stood still, her eyes focused, like she was replaying every interaction she'd had with Carly over the past few weeks. Every laugh, every side comment, every little moment that didn't seem important at the time. "There were signs," Spice said quietly. Rasheeda looked at her. "What signs?" Spice exhaled slowly. "Little things, comments she made, questions she asked." At the time, it felt normal. But now, she paused, shaking her head. Now it feels like she was fishing. Fishing for what? Someone asked. "Information," Spice replied. "Anything she could use later." The room shifted. Again, people started looking at each other differently now, not just as friends or cast members, but as possible pieces in a bigger game. Rasheeda sat down slowly, her energy completely different from before. The anger was gone, replaced with something heavier. "She asked me about you too," Rasheeda admitted. Spice's eyes snapped toward her. "What did you say?" "Nothing crazy," Rasheeda said quickly. "Just normal stuff." But now, I'm thinking, why was she even asking? Because she was building something, Spice said, piece by piece. Mona watched the exchange closely, her expression serious. "If that's true," she said, "then this isn't just about one rumor. This is about manipulation." And that word, manipulation, landed hard. "So what she been playing?" All of us," someone said from the back. "Looks like it," another voice replied. Rasheeda rubbed her forehead, clearly overwhelmed. "This is crazy, like actually crazy." "No," Spice said firmly. This is intentional, Mona nodded slightly. And intention matters. The room fell into a heavy silence again. But then, another voice spoke up. There's something else. Everyone turned. It was one of the quieter cast members. Someone who hadn't said much the entire time, but now all eyes were on them. What you mean? Mona asked. They hesitated, then stepped forward slightly. I didn't think it mattered before, but now it might. Say it, Spice urged. Earlier this week, they began. Carly told me something about Rasheeda. Rasheeda's head snapped. Up, what? She said you were planning to distance yourself from Spice. Like, publicly. The room reacted instantly. What? Rasheeda said, completely caught off guard. That's not true. That's what she told me. They replied. She said you were tired of the drama and you didn't want to be associated with it anymore. Rasheeda stood up again, frustration rising. I never said that. Spice looked between them, her expression tightening. So she was telling different stories to different people. Exactly, Mona said quietly. And now the full picture was starting to come together. She wasn't just creating one narrative, Spice said. She was creating multiple. Rasheeda shook her head in disbelief. So no matter what, we were gonna clash because we were both being fed different versions of the truth, Spice added. The realization hit like a wave. That's dirty, someone muttered. That's calculated. Another voice added. Mona stepped forward again, her tone now completely serious. This changes things, she said. Because now we're not just dealing with a misunderstanding. We're dealing with someone who deliberately tried to create division. Spice nodded slowly and almost succeeded. Rasheeda looked at her, guilt still visible. I'm not gonna lie, it almost worked. Spice didn't respond right away. She just looked at Rasheeda, really looked at her. And for the first time since all of this started, the tension between them softened. Just slightly, yeah, Spice said quietly. It did. That moment felt different, not explosive, not dramatic, but real. But before it could settle, Mona spoke again. This is where the final call comes in. Those words immediately grabbed everyone's attention. Because at this point, Mona continued, we have to decide how this moves forward. Not just for you two, but for everyone involved. The room leaned in again. First, Mona said, there will be a sit-down, not optional, mandatory, with Carly present, if she even shows up. Someone muttered, she will. Mona replied firmly, because if she doesn't, that's a whole different outcome. Spice crossed her arms again, but this time, it wasn't defensive. It was focused. And if she lies, then we deal with that, Mona said directly. Rasheeda nodded slowly. I need that conversation, because right now, I feel played. You were, Spice said. We both were, Mona continued. Second, until this is resolved, no more side conversations, no more whispers, no more passing information. Everything gets brought to the table. Openly, heads nodded around the room. Because clearly, Mona added, silence and assumptions are what got us here. And then, she paused. Just long enough to let the next part hit harder. And finally, trust is going to have to be rebuilt, or it won't. That line sat heavy in the air, because everyone knew rebuilding trust wasn't easy, especially not after something like this. Spice exhaled slowly. I'm willing to talk, she said. But I'm not forgetting. I don't expect you to, Mona replied. Rasheeda looked at Spice again. Same, she said. I'll own my part, but this ain't something that just disappears. It's not supposed to, Mona said. It's supposed to be addressed. The room stayed quiet, but this time, it felt more grounded, less chaotic, but even in that calm, there was still tension. Because one piece was still missing. Carly. And until she stepped back into this situation, nothing was truly resolved. Spice glanced at Rasheeda one more time. When she shows up, everything comes out. Rasheeda nodded. Everything. Mona looked between them, then at the rest of the room. And when it does, be ready. Because whatever truth was about to surface, It wasn't just going to explain the drama. It was going to expose it completely, and just like that. What started as a simple misunderstanding turned into something much deeper. Friendships were tested, trust was shaken, and the truth, it's still hanging in the air, waiting to fully come out. Spice and Rasheeda may have taken a step toward understanding, but let's be real. Nothing is truly settled until Carly steps into that room and faces everything head-on. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the entire circle was left divided. Some are siding with Spice, saying she was set up from the beginning, while others believe Rasheeda was simply reacting to what she thought was real. But now the big question is, what happens when all three finally come face to face? Will the truth bring them back together, or completely tear everything apart? And let's not forget Mona's final call. That decision just changed the entire dynamic, and depending on how things unfold next, someone could be completely cut off for good. So now we want to hear from you. Whose side are you on right now? Do you think Carly planned all of this? Or is there still more to the story we haven't seen yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this conversation is far from over. And if you thought this drama was intense, just wait until the next reveal. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update. Because trust me, this situation is about to get even crazier.